Top 7 anime where MC is betrayed but becomes overpowered. Let's start off with number 7, The Kingdoms of Ruin, Hametsu no Okoku. Young mage Adonis watches his witch mentor executed by the Rhedia Empire's human supremacist regime, sparking his violent quest for magical vengeance against humanity. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. This one's darker than my coffee at 3 a.m. Adonis starts as this sweet, innocent kid learning magic from his witch mama figure. And then, bam, the Empire rolls up and basically commits magical genocide right in front of him. The betrayal here isn't just personal, it's systematic oppression that turns our boy into a walking apocalypse. What gets me is how the show doesn't shy away from showing Adonis becoming genuinely terrifying. Like, this isn't your typical, I'll prove them wrong power-up story. This dude literally wants to end humanity. The animation during his rage moments? Chef's kiss. Wait, no, absolutely beautiful. Though I'll admit, sometimes the pacing feels rushed, and certain character developments could have used more breathing room. Sliding to number 6, Dororo. Hyakimaru's father trades his son's body parts to demons for prosperity. Born limbless and sightless, Hyakimaru must reclaim himself piece by piece. Okay, this one's personal for me, because Dororo was one of those anime that made me question everything about family loyalty. Your own father trading your body parts like Pokemon cards? That's cold, even by anime standards. Hyakimaru's journey from this broken, barely human shell to a complete person is both literal and metaphorical in the best way possible. What I love about this series is how each demon he defeats doesn't just give him back a body part, it gives him back humanity. The first time he gains his voice and starts screaming? Goosebumps, every single time. Though honestly, some episodes drag harder than my motivation on Monday mornings, and the ending felt slightly rushed considering the emotional weight they were carrying. Landing on number 5, Revenger. Raizo's samurai clan is slaughtered by corrupt officials. Saved by underground assassins, he joins their organization to hunt down those who betrayed everything. This show flew under so many radars, it's criminal. Revenger takes the classic "my clan was murdered" trope and actually does something interesting with it. Raizo doesn't just become strong, he becomes a ghost, operating in shadows with this morally gray assassin group that makes you question who the real villains are. The historical setting during Japan's isolationist period adds this layer of political intrigue that most revenge anime skip entirely. But here's my beef with it. The character development sometimes takes a back seat to the pretty visuals. Don't get me wrong, it looks gorgeous, but I wanted more emotional depth from Raizo's transformation. Still, when those fight scenes hit, they hit harder than your crush rejecting you in high school. Looking at number 4, Vinland Saga. Young Thorfinn witnesses his father's murder by Askeladd's Viking crew, then spends years serving his father's killer, seeking the perfect moment for revenge. Stop everything you're doing and watch this masterpiece right now. Seriously, I'll wait. Thorfinn's story is probably the most realistic portrayal of how revenge actually destroys you from the inside. This kid spends years becoming a killing machine just to earn the right to duel the man who killed his father. But here's where Vinland Saga gets genius. It doesn't glorify this cycle. Thorfinn becomes incredibly skilled, sure, but he also becomes empty, hollow, a shell of what he could have been. The psychological depth here makes most other anime look like Saturday morning cartoons. Season 2 especially shows how true strength isn't about fighting prowess, but about breaking free from hatred. My only complaint? The pacing in certain arcs can feel slower than waiting for your favorite manga to update. Moving to number 3, the banished former hero lives as he pleases. Hero Alan is exiled after defeating the demon lord, branded a traitor by the very kingdom he saved. Now he lives freely, unleashing his true power. This one hits different because it's not about gaining power after betrayal. It's about finally being free to use the power you already had. Alan spent years holding back, being the perfect hero for an ungrateful kingdom that backstabs him the moment it's convenient. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically every retail worker's fantasy. What I appreciate is how Alan doesn't become evil or edgy after his betrayal. He just stops caring about other people's expectations and lives authentically. It's surprisingly wholesome for a revenge story. The supporting characters actually feel like real friends rather than plot devices, which is refreshing. Though I gotta say, Some of the slice-of-life elements can feel jarring when you're expecting more action sequences. Stepping into number 2, Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. Prince Lelouch is exiled after questioning his father's ruthless empire. Gaining the power of geass, he wages strategic war against Britannia using cunning over strength. We need to talk about Lelouch v Britannia because this man single-handedly redefined what overpowered means in anime. Forget physical strength. This dude weaponizes his intellect and charisma to topple an entire empire. The betrayal here runs deep because it's not just political, it's personal, familial, and cuts to the core of everything Lelouch believed about justice. Every episode feels like watching a grandmaster play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Lelouch's transformation from exiled prince to revolutionary leader is pure character development gold. But let's be honest, some of his plans are so convoluted, they border on ridiculous. And don't get me started on some of the mech designs. Still, that ending? I'm still not over it, and neither are you. And finally, number 1, Gachiakuta. Rudo is framed for murder and exiled to the Abyss, a wasteland of discarded things. There, he discovers his power to transform trash into weapons. This manga-turned-anime deserves way more recognition than it gets. Rudo's betrayal isn't just being framed, it's watching his entire community turn against him based on lies. Being thrown into literal garbage disposal feels like the perfect metaphor for how society treats people it deems worthless. But here's the beautiful irony. In a place filled with discarded things, Rudo discovers he can turn trash into treasure, literally. His power reflects the story's core theme. Just because something is thrown away doesn't mean it's worthless. The world building is incredible, the power system is unique, and the character growth feels earned rather than handed to him. My only criticism is that it's still ongoing, so we haven't seen the full scope of Rudo's development yet. But what we have is absolutely phenomenal. These stories prove that sometimes the worst betrayals forge the strongest characters. Whether it's through literal power-ups or psychological growth, these protagonists show us that revenge isn't always about getting even. Sometimes it's about becoming better than those who wronged you. What's your favorite betrayal to power story? Drop it in the comments.